No. You rise to the occasion. Experience comes with age, and I've been hearing a lot about age, you know.
And I finally get to check that off my list, and I knew this was going to be a big fight. The build-up for this is huge. The press conferences are entertaining. It's a spectacle.
One with just 17 days remaining before the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul showdown. The tension continues to build as both fighters push themselves to the limit. Training is now at its most intense stage, with Joshua sharpening his power, timing, and footwork, while Jake forces himself through heavy conditioning to keep pace. At this point, every session counts, and the atmosphere around the fight grows heavy.
And I have nothing but love for him, but I'm going to knock him out respectfully, and you know, we can hug and kiss afterwards. Specifically kiss.
Anthony Joshua's training camp for Jake Paul is now fully underway, and this time it comes with a major shift, a complete change of camp. Joshua hasn't fought since his knockout loss in September 2024, followed by elbow surgery, so this preparation carries extra urgency. Reports say he is working on conditioning, technical drills, footwork, and ring craft under the guidance of Alexander Usyk's coaches, aiming to enter the ring sharper and smarter. Joshua admits the change is massive. Training under a different system has pushed him harder than before. Joshua begins his mornings with intense ice baths to strengthen his body and speed recovery. The freezing water reduces inflammation, keeps his muscles fresh, and boosts his mental resilience. Joshua believes these cold therapy routines sharpen his focus and prepare him for the heavy training sessions that follow. It's a strict, disciplined part of his day. For Inside Camp, Joshua works in an environment built on discipline, precision, and constant refinement. Surrounded by coaches who prioritize sharp technique and strategic awareness, he approaches each session with purpose. His drills aim to tighten offensive burst while building a defensive system that reacts instantly. Coaches track his rhythm, foot placement, and punch variety, constantly pushing him to improve beyond old habits. Ringside observers see how seriously Joshua responds to every correction. Instead of relying only on natural power, he focuses on mastering angles, distance, and counters. His movement becomes more controlled as he shifts between defensive slips and crisp counterpunch combinations.
I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Alexander Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and doing little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm to have him, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wally, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the BoxRec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where, what you've just said then, Spencer, like, match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick, because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders. Yeah. He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such a commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he? Yeah. He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been.
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Alexander Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out.
Hearn views this matchup with clear seriousness, fully aware of what rests on Joshua's shoulders. He acknowledges that this fight carries consequences far beyond bragging rights. For Joshua, the outcome could shape the entire second half of his career. Hearn doesn't sugarcoat anything. Another loss at this stage would spark major questions about whether continuing is worth it. Yet despite the pressure, Hearn's confidence in Joshua stays firm. He believes the months of disciplined training have rebuilt Joshua's focus and sharpened his edge. From conditioning to sparring, Joshua has treated
saying that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. I mean, what is it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Teddy Atlas as well.
Teddy Atlas? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses. No.
Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up and beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Just lastly, you said as well that you told Nikisa that he was weighing 290 when you were negotiating. What impact did that have? Did you feel like they would have gone even lower if they knew he was weighing 265?
I don't think that when you're negotiating on a weight, there's not one promoter in the world that would tell the truth about what the weight of the fighter was. And Nikisa knows that anyway. So it wasn't like we were being clever, but they wanted him to come to 240. And it's just, don't forget, AJ's never made weight before. So all of a sudden, he's tried, he'd been in camp for, 2 or 3 weeks. And he's probably sitting at, 260, 265. And it's like, you got to make...
A major source of Joshua's confidence comes from the high-level sparring partners he has brought into camp. Footage shows him trading punches with top heavyweights, each offering unique challenges. Jared Anderson, known for explosive power and relentless pressure, forces Joshua to stay sharp defensively. Anderson tests every reaction and punishes any lapse in focus, making Joshua work from the opening bell to the last second. Frank Sanchez brings a completely different style, relying.
Jake Paul is being dwarfed by these way bigger heavyweights like Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okoli. Okoli is like 6'4.5", 6'5", and these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", probably. So now Jake Paul is the one that's smaller. So first of all, I will give credit to Jake Paul. Clearly, he's a person who is taking his career seriously. These are quality sparring. I mean, a real boxer, because people say he's not a real boxer, but a real boxer would be using the same guys in their sparring camp. In fact, I just told you Joshua used Lawrence Okoli. I don't know if he sparred with Anderson or Frank Sanchez, but these are all regular ranked heavyweights. So credit to Jake Paul for that. And I mean, he's gonna need it. Joshua is a different breed to a Mike Perry when it comes to boxing. Different frame, different size. In case you didn't believe me, right? Jake Paul, this is what MVP Promotions posted. So Jake Paul, top sparring, right? Heavyweights. And here's some pictures of Joshua with Lawrence Okoli. And again, Joshua, a big dude, but you see Lawrence Okoli, and he probably was cruiserweight back then. I mean, I don't know exactly when this picture was taken, but he's only like an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. And now, as he's moved up to the full heavyweight, he has filled out more. You see, he looks even bigger than when he was a cruiserweight. Now, I gotta research it, but I want to say